August 5, 2010, a group of miners toil in the sweltering darkness of the San Jose copper mine. They were a mining team of 33 men and a truck driver in charge of cargo handling. Mining went on as usual and the truck driver went up to unload the cargo. A few minutes later, when the truck driver conquered the final incline towards the surface of the mine, he hears a deafening roar behind him, as if a massive skyscraper had collapsed. As he looks through the rear-view mirror, he sees a massive cloud of dust emerging from the mouth of the San Jose mine. In an office about 100 feet above the mine entrance, Carlos Pinilla, the director in charge of the mine, hears the thunder. At first, he thought it was just another explosion inside the mine, something that happened often and didn't worry him much. In fact, the San Jose mine had been shut down a few years ago as it was very unsafe. Miners had lost legs and some had even died. Pinilla continues to hear the loud noise. The phone rings. As Pinilla picks it up, he hears the words, "Go outside and look at the mine entrance." Pinilla steps outside and sees something his eyes had never seen in his life. A massive cloud of dust was erupting out of the San Jose mine. A gigantic boulder the size of a 45-story building had detached from the mountain, falling through the mine's layers and triggering a chain reaction that blocked the ramp leading to the surface. As Pinilla witnesses the disaster unfolding, he worries about his job being on the line. This incident could spell the demise of the mining company, which made the directors hesitant to inform the authorities. However, after hours of discussion, they ultimately chose to report the accident.
On August 5th, the San Jose mine in northern Chile collapsed.
The miners were working at a depth of around 450 meters when the rock above them collapsed. Nothing has been heard of them since.
The news quickly spread, capturing the nation's attention right from the start. President of Chile, Sebastián Piñera, and Mining Minister Lawrence Goldborn cut short their international visits and rapidly flew to the San Jose mine, where a crisis management team is set up to coordinate a rescue of the miners. Simultaneously, the families of the trapped miners arrive in San Jose and set up tents in the opposite side of the mine's fence, forming a settlement that would later be named Campamento Esperanza, meaning the Hope Settlement. At this point, the world above ground had no idea if the miners were alive or dead. Anxiety grew, and everyone was on edge. The mine authorities hoped that the trapped miners had reached a shelter that was located 2,400 feet deep inside the mine. Mines are equipped with a ventilation system to ensure proper air circulation, and these ducts typically have emergency stairs for miners to exit in situations like this. So the rescue team begins its descent into the shelter through the ventilation shaft. But as they are making their way down to the miners, the one thing everyone feared suddenly happens. A second collapse takes place, completely blocking the ventilation route. Forced by the circumstances, the rescue workers have no option but to abandon the plan altogether. All progress came to a halt, returning everyone to the starting point. Spirits went down, and uncertainty on what to do next gripped the scene. For the miners' families, this was a heartbreaking situation that demanded urgent action. Their protests increased the tension. In response, the government brought in expertise of engineer André Sugaret to lead the rescue efforts. Sugaret was a distinguished and highly experienced mining civil engineer with extensive expertise in working with mine structures in Chile. His plan was to find out whether the miners were still alive. Sugaret knew that if indeed they were alive, they must be either in the workshop or the shelter, the only places stocked with provisions lasting for 3 days. Sugaret and his team embarked on the ambitious task of creating multiple shafts connecting the surface to the depths of the mine. They expect to locate the miners with one of these drills. Fueled by this new energy of hope, the rescue team starts drilling 5-inch diameter exploratory boreholes into the mine. But progress was slow. After 2 weeks of continuous drilling, there was no success. Drill after drill returned from their mission empty-handed, showing no signs of life. The most anticipated moment arrived when the crucial drill reached the first workshop, only to find an empty space. This dealt an emotional blow, but they resolved not to give up. Despite the setback, a few ongoing drills remained, providing a glimmer of hope. The other ongoing excavations pressed on. "17 days have passed since the miners became trapped and the final exploratory drill reaches a depth of 2,200 feet, nearing the shelter just 65 feet away, their last beacon of hope. They wait for it to come back. When it finally emerges, they discover something incredible. The drill was covered in red paint. First signs of life. Inside the drill, they discover a few mud-covered pieces of paper. The minister delicately retrieves a damp fragment and reads aloud.
Estamos bien en el refugio Los 33.
Gracias, huevo, gracias.
As enthusiastic as the world reacted to the miners being found, those involved in the rescue knew that finding the miners was the easy part. The real challenge lay ahead, as no one had a definite plan on how to extract them safely. The desert rock in San Jose was incredibly hard, and outdated mine maps leave the rescuers essentially drilling blind nearly a kilometer underground. To make matters worse, the only available drill capable of the task, the Strata 950, required significant amounts of water, and the nearest supply was an hour's drive away. They were, after all, in the most arid desert of the world. The Strata 950 was designed to create perfectly straight holes, which means they would have to create now a new vertical tunnel. At an average of the 65 feet this drill could do daily, the operation was going to be very slow. At this pace, it was going to take at least 4 months to get the miners out. Despite the impossibility of the mission, they pressed on with the challenge. The Strata 950, later known as Plan A, starts drilling. In the first communication, the rescue team asked the miners how they had survived until then. The miners revealed that the 33 of them had meticulously rationed the provisions stocked in the shelter, originally intended for just 3 days. For 18 days, their diet consisted of only 1 teaspoon of tuna fish, a sip of milk, and a quarter of a biscuit each every day. To stave off dehydration, they resorted to drinking water from the machine's cooling system, even though it was clouded with motor oil. For those in the surface, it was obvious that the conditions were dire, so the Chilean government reached out to experts including NASA doctors and submarine commanders, along with mental health specialists experienced in extreme environments. Together, they devised a regimen encompassing diet, exercise, and entertainment to maintain the miners' stability during their prolonged stay underground. Though all 33 were extremely hungry, the NASA experts suggested not to send food through the hole just yet. Anyone deprived of food for a period of 5 to 7 days or more lacks the phosphates and potassium needed for digesting carbohydrates. Any binge could trigger cardiac failure. This lesson was learned during the final days of World War II, when soldiers accidentally killed many survivors of concentration camps by feeding them rations of pre-cooked meals and chocolates. Chilean authorities opted to follow the advice from the NASA experts to proceed very frugally and slowly. Initially, they provided each of the 33 miners with energy drinks containing potassium, phosphates, and vitamin V supplements. Over time, they would transition to sending warm rations of cooked meals, including meatballs, chicken, and rice. The entire world was captivated by the eerie daily images of the miners' situation. Among those watching in horror was American drilling expert Brandon Fisher. Recognizing that his drilling company possessed the technology that could assist the efforts in Chile, he swiftly took action. Brandon picked up the phone, boarded a plane, and on day 30, he and his team arrived in the Atacama Desert with the American-built Schramm T-130 drill. The Schramm T-130 boasted double the speed, yet its drill lacked maneuverability. With this challenge, Brandon's team faced a difficult decision. They sacrificed one of the 3 boreholes supplying oxygen to the miners. This sacrifice would allow them to utilize the existing pilot hole as a guide. To make this plan work, they had to design a specialized hammerhead for the drill, ensuring it could follow the borehole accurately. 1 month has passed after the collapse, and Plan B is now on. If successful, this plan could free the miners in under 6 weeks. However, no one knows whether Brandon's purpose-built hammer drill would hold up under the immense pressure of the task. Amid the crisis, external support poured in. Pope Benedict offered his prayers, sending blessed rosaries. David Villa, the Spanish national soccer team's center forward and a miner's descendant, sent 2 autographed shirts with inspiring messages. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon shared words of encouragement. Real Madrid sent autographed shirts as a gesture of solidarity. Apple CEO Steve Jobs gave them 33 iPods. Just when hope seemed within reach, a setback slammed reality back in their faces. On day 36, disaster struck with Plan B. Its hammerhead disintegrated upon hitting an iron roof bolt near an unknown tunnel, leaving fragments obstructing the hole 800 feet deep. Plan B is now dead in its tracks. But that wasn't the end of the ordeal. A leaking hydraulic hose shuts down Plan A, leaving the whole San Jose mine with no working drill at all. On day 37, though, a glimmer of hope arrived at the Hope Settlement. A convoy of 42 colossal trucks carrying the pieces of a behemoth Rig 421, a drilling machine designed for oil wells, with the main advantage of immediately creating a 27-inch diameter duct. This is Plan C. Standing at an impressive 150 feet, this super fast and powerful drill offers a glimmer of reassurance. The only problem is that it takes 9 days to construct, and the miners are not having a good time. Upon knowing the news, 5 of the miners succumbed to depression. Victor Segovia, a miner who documented in his diary their daily struggles, wrote his thoughts. Everyone's spirits are very low. Before the help arrived, there was peace. We prayed every day. Now that help has come, instead of being more united, we do nothing but fight and argue. He also emphasized they felt like mere subjects. Now I know how a captive animal feels, always depending on a human hand to feed it. These tunnels buried deep within the earth are constantly heated at 95 degrees Fahrenheit, courtesy of the Earth's core. The rock walls drip with moisture and the air is oppressively humid at a suffocating 95%. Even the darkness posed a threat, as the absence of UV light left them vulnerable to bacteria, fungi, and viruses. Among them were individuals already vulnerable. Jorge Guidillos was dealing with high blood pressure. Mario Gomez was soon to turn 63 years old, and Jose Ojeda was battling with diabetes. With the men already weakened, a mere infection could prove fatal. Plan A drill is back on track but running very slowly. Meanwhile, Plan B's broken drill bit remains lodged, presenting a costly setback not just in terms of finances but also endangering the lives of the 33 miners. To tackle this obstacle, Brandon's team crafted a specialized tool on site known as a spider. This device is lowered down to the bottom of the hole where the obstruction is. Intense efforts were made to bend the spider's teeth inwards, enveloping the metal lump. Engineers must now wait and see if their spider has held on to its catch. Plan B can finally begin drilling again. As for Plan C, on day 46, the monumental Rig 421 was finally completed. With its assembly finished, Plan C could initiate drilling. The race was on again. For the first time, all 3 drills are up and running. In the meantime, the miners inside the depths of the earth showcased their daily lives to the world. By now, they have been trapped under 2,400 feet below the surface for a record-breaking 43 days, 18 days longer than anyone in history. Though some miners were more prominent than others, they opted to organize themselves under a democratic system, employing a one-man, one-vote approach. They stressed that their enduring faith has played a pivotal role in their survival. Faith in their families at Hope Settlement, who haven't given up on them. Faith in their comrades who decide to stand by each other under this difficult circumstance. And faith in the religion that helped them keep their hope alive. Their unwavering faith is on the verge of being rewarded. In the early hours of the morning, Plan B's 12-inch drill pierces through the roofs of the shelter, sparking exuberant celebrations. The next crucial phase demands widening the hole from 12 to 28 inches, a process estimated to take around 26 more days if everything proceeds as planned. After that, we will try to reinforce the escape shaft with sturdy metal tubes to ensure the evacuation capsules can perform their mission without a hitch. The Fenix capsules are the capsules that will be used to extract the 33 trapped miners. They were designed by engineer Alejandro Villablanca after the San Jose mine collapse, and subsequently built by the Chilean Navy in partnership with NASA. They were named Fenix in honor of the legendary bird that rose from its ashes after being consumed by fire. With a 21-inch diameter and 8 wheels, they can navigate narrow spaces. Each capsule includes a harness, oxygen, and a microphone for communication. Fenix is an evolved version of the so-called Talbush bomb, the first rescue capsule invented in 1955 by engineers at the German Talbush mine in Helskirchen. The day of the truth has finally arrived.
Engineers in Chile are reinforcing the rescue shaft that will finally bring the 33 trapped miners to freedom after more than 2 months deep underground.
And I want to express the hopes of the American people that the miners who are still trapped underground will be returned home safely as soon as possible.
Each miner will take half an hour to complete the 2,000-foot trip to the surface. The order of their release adheres to a protocol similar to rescuing individuals from a sunken submarine. Those in the best physical conditions and most skilled go first, followed by the more fragile, chronically ill, and elderly. Lastly, those who are psychologically strongest are released, leaving the shift leader, Luis Ibarra, for last. The rescue operation commences, and the first miner, Florencia Avalos, 31 years old, is hoisted to freedom. One by one were taken out until all 33 trapped miners are pulled to safety. The 2-month rescue operation was tense until the very last second, but now it was done. All the miners were saved, a success greater than even the rescue team had expected. However, it came at a cost. 14 of the rescued miners, primarily the older ones, struggled with the physical and psychological aftermath even a year after their ordeal. To support them, the Chilean government granted a lifelong pension of approximately $500 per month. Moreover, in response to the mishandling of the San Jose mine, then President Piñera removed the top officials of SERNAGEUME, the governmental office responsible for mine inspections. What had seemed like a horrifying catastrophe 70 days ago had transformed into a miraculous tale of technological innovation, camaraderie, and determination. A success story that captivated the hearts of over 1 billion people worldwide.